Hello everyone, welcome to Stockertim, the investors channel. So on this episode, I would like to actually talk about Robinhood, ticker symbol HOOD, Robinhood markets. Robinhood actually is one of the most surprising stock, and not necessarily surprising, but one of the perhaps the most talked about stock now that has been moving very, very aggressively to the upside. This was a stock that actually was trading at less than $20 2 years ago, but everything has now changed, and Robinhood is now trading at over $72 per share. What is responsible for this? What is the future of Robinhood? Is this another 10x stock in the making? Is Robinhood actually the next, say, Interactive Brokers or Charles Schwab? I'll be talking about what exactly is the picture of how Robinhood can get to the 10x, actually more or less really, giving back up to 1000% to investors. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, put on the notification bell so that you don't miss any update. Also, every information we share is for information and education purpose only. Do your due diligence or consult a financial advisor before making any decision. So I will get into it now. Join me. So for some of us who have Robinhood in our portfolio, we will have actually seen that this year alone, Robinhood has actually been one of the most, uh, perhaps the best performing stock in the league of Palantir Technologies. Robinhood doesn't necessarily compete with Palantir in any way, but they've been very, very, very successful, at least in the last 6 months, or almost in the last 6 months, for many reasons. Robinhood is now more or less on a very, very strong tailwind. Number one, Bitcoin seems to have actually gotten to a point where the bulls are now more than the bears. So Robinhood, being a trading platform, investing platform, financial and financial technology platform, benefits a whole lot from crypto trading. Also, the volatility in the market that happened during the period when President Trump started the tariff hikes, a whole lot of the sell-offs, and also a whole lot of the upside move when this tariff was actually suspended for most countries. Robinhood benefits from this volatility either when people are selling stocks aggressively or when they are buying stocks aggressively, and when they are buying and selling crypto aggressively. Robinhood has also been expanding very, very aggressively. Let me use that word again for the lack of a better word. Now, yesterday, they finalized the acquisition of Bitstamp, which is one of the most popular crypto trading platform in Europe, and with presence across Europe and also in the UK. However, now that Robinhood seems to have gotten to a point where the stock seems to have a whole lot of positive momentum behind it, is this another 10x stock? And what is the trajectory? How will this company or this stock actually get to a point of when it 10x in capitalization in value, and when investors actually will have actually made a record profit from this stock? I'm going to walk you through that. Number one, let's go to the recent disclosure by Robinhood. So currently, Robinhood has over $200 billion of assets on its platform across, overall asset on the platform across the globe. But if you also look at the customer count, the number of funded accounts on the platform, you could actually see that Robinhood seems to be growing very, very progressively. And with the acquisition of Bitstamp and also the acquisition of WonderFi in Canada recently, Robinhood is likely to see a major bump in the number of customers on its platform. If you also see the expansion of the business across credit cards, banking services, also manage portfolios for a whole lot of retail investors who don't have that acumen or that time or that understanding or knowledge to pick stocks for themselves. Robinhood now has Robinhood strategies in the US. When they acquired Trade PMR, all of those moves by the company seems to have actually catalyzed to a point where Robinhood is now more or less on the pace to become perhaps the next Charles Schwab in terms of success or the next interactive brokers. I'm going to be showing you the chart, comparing Robinhood with those two major key players in the fintech, stock trading, and investing brokerage business. But before I get into that, what exactly is the catch here? Yes, so you might have actually asked, is this all about positive stories? Are there no downside to this stock? Number one, part of the reason why Robinhood keeps accelerating to the upside, despite the fact that even crypto, which is Bitcoin, has actually had some minor pullbacks when it got to the all-time high. Robinhood is now rumored perhaps that is going to be added to the S&P 500 later this week or as early as tomorrow. Bank of America actually tipped that Robinhood, in their own estimation, will actually be added. It is not confirmed yet, so a whole lot of that momentum, a whole lot of that movement to the upside in the price of the stock is part and parcel of the S&P 500. Would that lead to a sell the news kind of a thing where the stock has now been added to the S&P 500 and a whole lot of the speculative buying that actually entered the stock will now be taken off? That could actually be a scenario. The second scenario is if Robinhood doesn't get into the S&P 500. By the way, the S&P 500 is the top most capitalized top 500 most capitalized stocks on the US stock market. More or less the best 500 companies you can invest in, because before you can actually get into the S&P 500, you have so much order to cross in terms of your market cap, in terms of your investor diversity. The percentage of your investors or shareholders who are retail and the percentage who are institutional. Also, you must have demonstrated quarter on quarter profitability. So it's not a stock or a company that has huge debt. It's not profitable. It's highly leveraged. The S&P 500, being a very, very premium index, actually has that high hurdle. So if Robinhood gets in, that will actually be, especially in the medium term. In the short term, you could actually move the stock further to the upside. But you could actually see the sell the news kind of movement. But in the medium to the long term, this is going to be very, very positive for Robinhood, because what that means is a whole lot of the institutional investors who actually oftentimes more or less pick stocks or invest in companies that are mostly quoted or listed in the S&P 500, many of them will now have to add and rebalance their portfolio to actually accommodate Robinhood. That is actually a huge opportunity for Robinhood investors to actually see maybe the journey to 10x for Robinhood. However, if Robinhood doesn't get into this index, especially now or in the next couple of months, that's going to actually see a bit of a pullback. And that is actually the bonus for you. If you have watched it to this point, please subscribe to our channel, put on your notification bell so that you don't miss any updates. And the bonus for me, which is more or less what I think about what is likely to happen, is if Robinhood doesn't get into the S&P 500 by tomorrow or as early as Friday, when this is finally announced, because the index is actually rebalanced 3 times or 4 times during the year. So we have that the June rebalancing, which Robinhood is now tipped to actually be added. But if Robinhood doesn't get in, we might actually see a major pullback, not a very nasty one, because the company doesn't necessarily have any problem. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the stock or the company. It's just basically a whole lot of the speculative buys that is actually looking to benefit from the upside might actually take a few capitalization, a few valuation of the table, and you could actually see this stock, maybe pulling back to the region of 65 to $57 in my own estimation. I don't know what you think. That will actually be a good opportunity for anyone who hasn't who hasn't bought anything, or if you don't own the stock, because this stock, Robinhood, is one of the stocks that we've actually recommended in our portfolio for our premium members. But before I get into how you can join our premium community, I will show you a particular chart for you to actually see the journey for 10x for Robinhood. Come with me. So as you can see, these are the two other most successful brokerage and investment platforms globally. Charles Schwab is known, very, very strong in the US, very strong with the baby boomers population, the the middle class, and also the wealthy part of the US population, the very educated investors who have very, very several years, strong years of investing. Many of them are on Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab also, acquired TD Ameritrade, and that actually led to a huge bump for Charles Schwab. If you also look at Interactive Brokers, globally known, globally renowned, present in several countries, Interactive Brokers, as you can see, a very, very successful brokerage platform. But if you go to the maximum period, you actually see the growth of Interactive Brokers as a very, very successful platform, over 23,000 return. Charles Schwab rather, over 23,000 return. Interactive Brokers, over 500 return, not up to 10x. However, if you flip the script and you look at Robinhood, Robinhood has only returned over 105% to investors, all time. Depending on when you bought, if you bought this stock if you bought Robinhood when it was trading less than $10, less than $20, you must have made over 200%. However, if you look at this stock, really, the journey to 10x is still very, very far off. It's still very, very not really near what we have now. We still have 9x for this stock to actually move. So what do I think? I believe Robinhood is very, very positioned to actually go to that journey. I believe this stock in the next 5 years, this stock will actually more or less getting close to 10x in terms of 1000% return, all time. Why? Because Robinhood seems to actually have more ambition to become the one-stop shop for investing, finance, and banking. And if you look at the current generation of millennials, Gen Zs, and perhaps the generation Alpha that are actually going to be a bit more savvy with money, with investing, and finance, Robinhood has that opportunity to actually capture that community, that generation of younger people, and that's where that acceleration for Robinhood is actually going to come from. Also, expansion into other countries and continents like Asia, West Asia. For instance, I see Robinhood getting into India. For instance, I see Robinhood getting into Indonesia. I see Robinhood getting into Malaysia, Philippines, also sub-Saharan Africa like Nigeria, South Africa. The growth trajectory is actually very, very strong. How will they get there? I see them doing more of acquisition, which might cost them money in the short term, but in the medium to long term, Robinhood actually has the opportunity. And that's why we are inviting you to join our premium community. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what we do share with our premium community. Robinhood, we recommended this well over close to about 2 years ago when we recommended this. So if you join our premium community, you get access to all this kind of exclusive stock picks, exclusive insights that is actually able to take your portfolio to the next level. We are talking about 10x opportunities like Palantir, like Uber, like Robinhood. We're talking about Walmart. So these are some of the few picks that we've actually picked over the years, and our premium community members have benefited. If you look up, the link to join our premium community is up. You can click, watch a short video, and also click the link to actually join, to subscribe. Also, in the description to this video, I'll drop that link. I'll see you in the next one. What do you think about Robinhood? Do you think this is a 10x opportunity in the next 5 years? That's what we think. What do you think? We'd like to hear from you. Till next time, keep investing, keep growing. Take care, and bye bye.